Welcome back to Half Moon's Picks, and week one did pretty good. I'll bring up the stats here in a minute. I know a couple people, they're complaining, oh, don't edit your videos too much, I know. And I did, and I'm going to try not to do that this video, but I'm still going to edit. This way I could follow a routine and not miss any content as I would without editing. So it makes sense, you get more information, and probably, not too many cuts like last time. One thing we learned from week one is never believe the hype. One of the few games I did miss, like Cleveland straight up, is all the hype around Cleveland. Everybody said, oh, they're like third or fourth pick to win the Super Bowl. I'm like, come on, this team. I even talked about it last video a little bit, and I still picked them straight up in my straight up pools. I didn't lose any money or anything from it, because I did go with the Tennessee minus the 5.5, but it's just one of the things you just don't believe the public hype on. You always bet against the public hype. One thing I did last week was clear out the bad links below. I'm sorry about that. Check out the links, the active links of people still making NFL content below. Check out Big Rye and the Fat Guy is one of my favorite contents. They're giving away free t-shirts, and you know me, I love free stuff, so check it out. All right, let's go on with the stats again. There's my stat board I keep every week. I went 4-0 in my video picks. A lot of people congratulated. Even if you came in and saw my video late, you still could have picked up both the Monday night games, or even came in early, picked up the Thursday game, and just landslided. I tripled my money on week one, which is great. I had a 9-team parlay, and I had a 9-team parlay. I only lost to the Giants minus 7.5. Can you imagine? I'd be driving a new car right now if I would have hit that one. And I also teased it with the minus 7, lost that. Sweet teased it at minus 10, lost that because of the Giants. And then Sweetheart at minus 13, and I did win that one. So you can't win them all, but one team just blows it all for me. I won all my pools, everything. I think on the t-shirt contest, someone beat me by one game at Big Rye and the Fat Guy. And it's probably because I picked the Lions, because, that's what I do. Yeah, that's why you'll probably not see too many Lions picks in my top, 4 picks. Unbelievable. So there goes my t-shirt. But as a troller, I troll myself more than anybody else could possibly troll me. Though I did go 4-0 my video picks, I did go 0-3 on my Twitter under and overs. All of them, like the Cleveland game. Who knew, the Titans would score 41 points, or the Giants would give up, 35 points. It's just one of those weeks where, the defense just didn't stand through. I thought it was like 15-13 going into the fourth quarter of the Browns game. And I thought I had it, but no, an unbelievable amount of points at the end of the game. So it's one thing that happens with unders and overs. It's not my favorite type of betting, but I usually do hit a handful of them, and I'll throw them on my Twitter as well. So like I said, I'm my biggest troller. And that's what brings the comment of the week. The comment of the week comes from Tony Chavara. Stupid picks, you suck. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to kick the 49ers butt 31-17. Bucks. You have won the comment of the week. Yes, Tampa Bay Buccaneers did lose 31-17, so you got the score right. You just picked the wrong team. But thanks for that comment, and you won the comment of the week. Now, let's get on with the picks. And my fourth pick of the week, my upset pick of the week, we got the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Green Bay Packers. The Minnesota Vikings are a 3-point road dog. And Green Bay, do they have a good defense? Do they? Is that one thing you got to ask yourself? Or does the Bears offense really stink? Mitch Trubisky just not have it. Or the Green Bay Packers have a great defense. It's one of the two. Either way, we know for a fact Minnesota's defense is top notch. They did stop an arsenal of weapons with the Atlanta Falcons at home last week. But in 2008, last year, you know, the Packers and the Vikings did tie. It was a divisional tie in that. So if you had 3 points, you would have been a winner. One thing about watching the black and blue division since before most of you were born, but one thing, you always take the points. You always take the points. That 3 points is so critical. Because you got to figure the winner always wins by usually 7 points or less. So, and the key numbers 7, 4, 3, and 0. So you got, if Minnesota wins 7, 4, 3, and 0, that's 4. And if they lose by 3, that's 5. And only if they lose by 4 and 7. So that's 2. So you got 5 versus 2. That's great odds. So take the 3 points. That's what I did with the Bills last week, and everybody's like, oh, it's not going to happen. Hey, it's a divisional game, you're getting 3 points. That's how it works. Plus, if they've done it in the past, as a trend better as well, you take the points. That's what I'm doing. So right here is a 3-point road dog. I'm taking Minnesota plus the 3. And my third pick of the week, we got the New Orleans Saints traveling to the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams are a 2.5-point home favorite. New Orleans 1-4 on the road in LA. I'm not a big. There's 2 teams I try to never bet on the road. The Saints and the Seahawks. That's one thing I try not to veer. These are usually, not all the time, but usually not a good road team. Saints, like I said, the first week usually they never cover the spread. Second week, same as well. Remember last year the Saints, the Cleveland Browns almost beat them, and that's the bad Cleveland Browns. Even I'm still waiting to see the good Cleveland Browns. So again, and a lot of the public is voting with the Saints. So you can even wait, see if this spread might come down a little bit, because of the revenge factor. Again, we don't bet the hype. So if you think there's a revenge factor, that you're gonna go with the Saints. I totally get it. There's a lot of people, a lot of hype. Not when it comes to my money. There's no hype. So again, I'm taking the LA Rams minus 2.5. My number 2 pick of the week, we got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are a 1.5-point home favorite. San Francisco been on the road, back-to-back road games. They did travel to Tampa Bay last week and traveled to Youngstown, Ohio to practice. So they never went back home to save some of the travel. Like, that's still 1,100 miles. Oh, so traveling from Florida to Ohio is still 1,100 miles, no matter how you. And these players haven't even seen home, so they're still traveling. One thing we gotta concern ourselves with this game is San Francisco Tevin Coleman. Their running back from that they acquired from Atlanta is out with a high ankle sprain, so that's not good. Last week, Jimmy G didn't play up the expectations that I thought, against Tampa. They still won. I understand whether he's as a starter is 9-2 now, but he did not look good. He didn't look good in the preseason. He didn't look good last week. Cincinnati Joe Mixon, he has some ankle injuries as well. He might be limited, but they have a good backup, Giovanni Bernard. So, they got someone in place to handle it. The Cincinnati Bengals had the number 2 pass offense in week 1. That's hard to believe, even though their star wide receivers out. So, San Francisco had number 30th pass offense in week 1. So, 1.5 points is a small price to pay. Plus, you're getting home field advantage. So, take Cincinnati minus 1.5. And my number 1 pick of the week, we got the Seattle Seahawks traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers are a 4-point home favorite. And one of the things I try to stay away from is Pittsburgh in my top 4. You know, they always play to their competition, never fails. They got killed by the Patriots last week, which I knew they would, but not to that 33-3 or whatever it was. One thing, like I said earlier, Seattle on the road, not one of my favorite choices. And here, is Pittsburgh going to go 0-2? Start off the season? I'm thinking that. That's not what I think. You know, I can see Seattle going 1-1. Seattle's 0-3 in Pittsburgh in the last 3 meetings, losing 24-0, 21-0, and 21-10. An average score of like 3 points a game. So again, I see that happening. Pittsburgh getting, getting back, getting fired up. Wants this division, needs a win desperately on their home opener. Will Pittsburgh go 0-2? No. So take Pittsburgh -4. Alright, that pretty much wraps up the video. For those who like the 10-minute videos, you can go ahead and leave. This last section is just me rambling about the rest of the teams. I'm giving a teaser. Last week I was 1-0 in my teasers as well. So like those teasers cash out, you know. So I gave you a 3-team teaser. I also told you, say, you know, if you wanted 4, put in Green Bay if you got it. You could have won a good chunk of money as well. Like I said, I had a 9-team. Oh my goodness. I was like, oh, it's 9-team. Oh man, this close. And I just did it, you know, for just put a few bucks. But a few bucks will win you a few grand, you know. 9-team especially. Alright, starting off the teasers, we're going to start with the New York Giants, who screwed me last week. We're going to take them plus, we're betting them with a 1.5. We're going to take them plus 8.5. They are a home team. They lose by more than 8.5 at home, man. I'm fading them. That's how that was going to work, you know. I'll give them the week 1 pass. Could have won several $1,000s, but didn't. And we're going to take it this week with the plus 8.5. My second leg of the teasers, we're going to take Kansas City. We're going to bet them down from 9-2. I know they're on back-to-back weeks this week, but it seems like a good bet. They're playing Oakland, so take Kansas City -2. And the third leg of the teasers, I got Chicago from +3 to +10. Like I said, these are 7-point teasers, so take that as a third leg. A couple of ones, you know, if you want to go out and go with more than a 3-team, you know, I got a couple of, you know, okay, I kind of like, you know, which I did win on. If you want to go, if you're betting these before Thursday, I know I'm putting this out on Wednesday. The spreads are, you know, seems to be later and later every year. So I'm taking an extra day instead of putting my picks out on Tuesday, putting them out on Wednesday. It might be, you know, late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. But either way, if you get this in before Thursday, Carolina as a pick'em, that'd be a great teaser as well. And also maybe Minnesota +10 in Green Bay. Like I said, it's a divisional game. 10 points is a lot. So that's a 5-team. So if you wanted to go Carolina pick'em, Minnesota +10, the Giants plus 8.5, Kansas City -2, and Chicago +10. That sounds like a good team, 5-team teaser, but I only try them on the 3 teams, and that's why I'm going to record as well. So take it as you will. Now let's talk about the rest of the game. All right, we got for the Thursday night game, we got Carolina. And for the Thursday night game, we got Tampa Bay traveling to Carolina. Carolina's 7-point favorite. I'm not that Tampa. You know, they got rid of Fitzmagic, and all they got is Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston pick 6s last week, which I knew would happen. He had 58 total interceptions last year. I think that's more than any NFL starter in their first 5 years I've ever known. That could be wrong, but that's a lot. So, like I said, I'm taking Carolina. They lost last week. They played fairly well against the Rams. McCaffrey is a beast. I think they give it to him. Tampa Bay defense, like I said, Gerald's not there anymore. They should be. I know they got Sue now, but he's getting long in the tooth. I think they're going to be able to run and pass on that Tampa Bay defense easily. I mean, San Francisco didn't do well at all, and they did. They won the game mainly through Jameis Winston, but they were still winning most of the game. So yeah, take Carolina -7. That's what I got. Next, I got Arizona at Baltimore. Baltimore, hype. Again, this is a hype game. If Baltimore does cover this 13.5 points, then we are going to hammer KC next week. Just remember that. Hammer KC. If Baltimore does cover 13.5 points against Arizona, because they're like the two worst teams in the league on top of Tampa Bay. I said that in my yearly video as well. So one team who beats two of the worst teams, and then they go in to play a good team, we're just gonna hammer that KC like big time. So we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna wait and see what this game is. I'm taking Arizona. I think 13.5 points is way too much. And see what goes. I still think Baltimore will win outright, but Arizona keep it close. But I'm mainly gonna watch this and see what happens for next week. Like I said, we're investing money here and winning our football pools. So that's how that goes. Next, we got Buffalo at the New York Giants. I'm picking the Giants on this one. They're a 1.5 point home dog. I know they didn't look good against Dallas on the road. Buffalo, they're back-to-back road games, and here they are a favorite on the road. That just does not make sense to me. I would have put the Giants in my top 4, but like I said, they kind of screwed me last week, and it's like, man, I'm just not putting them in my top money picks this week. But I am still betting on them. I still believe that they want to win a game. They're 0-1. Buffalo's 1-0. They did win their first road game. Will they win their second road game? I don't think so. They did have 4 turnovers in the first half. Buffalo did. So Giants would take advantage of that big time, more than the Jets would. So yeah, take the Giants plus 1.5. Plus they got the #1 running back in the league, in my opinion. So there you go. Next we got the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Washington. Dallas 5.5 points, man. Phew. I mean, they're the #1 pass offense in week 1. Washington did win last time in Washington, 2017, but they're 0-5 from the previous ones. And plus, Geis has a meniscus injury, so I think Adrian Peterson should be able to play. So he did great last year. Man, those 0-5 losses were like 10 points or more. The average around 10 points. So Dallas could potentially win this by 10 points. So that's what the numbers tell me. But like I said, it's a divisional game, 5.5 points. I'm up in the air on this one. Right now, I do got Washington as a divisional game, taking the 5 points. Because it's at Washington, and you're giving me 5 points. So that's what the rules say. So that's why I'm doing. I'm taking the home team plus the 5 points. Next game, we got Indianapolis traveling to Tennessee, another divisional game. This was going to be in my top 4, but I excluded it. Indianapolis did play well, but they're on back-to-back games. I know a lot of high rollers are taking Indianapolis. But man, I don't see it in the numbers, man. Indianapolis, they had the number 2 run in week 1, and they did run well. It's a divisional game. It's only 3 points though, so I'm going against those high rollers. I'm taking Tennessee minus the 3. If they had Andrew Luck, usually they win by 2 scores. Without Andrew Luck, they lose by 2 scores. That's what I'm looking at, so they don't have Andrew Luck, so they should lose by 2 scores. So I'm taking the home team minus the 3 with the Tennessee Titans. Next, we got Jacksonville traveling to Houston. Again, Nick Foles got injured. He's on IR right now. Jacksonville downhill. Divisional game. Houston did barely lose in a nail biter Remember, I told you to pick Houston +7, and they did cover last week. Houston had number 3 run offense this last week, week 1, but 9 points too much. So I'm taking Jacksonville +9. And here we go. You know, when I make these bets, one thing I should have opened up with this. One thing I should have opened up with, I don't rag on anybody's team. I do rag on the Detroit Lions because I am a Detroit Lions fan. And my goodness, these two teams, the Chargers are the AFC version of the Detroit Lions. Both these two teams were up by heavily point. Chargers up 24-9 when they fell asleep. Detroit was up 24-6 when they fell asleep. Chargers were able to, go into overtime and win, where Detroit failed to do so. The Chargers were at home last week, and the Lions are on the road. That's probably it. Both these two teams are so similar. I was born in California. I used to go to the Chargers games and Padres games a lot in San Diego. So I know San Diego, the history of them, followed way back to Dan Fouts days. But, whew, man, the 3 points, I'm taking the home team usually, and when these two teams play, the home team usually wins. That's how it works. One team will go way ahead, and then the home team will come back and win. That's what always happens, and that's what happened in the last 2 weeks. So that's what happens when these two teams battle. So I'm taking Detroit again, my Achilles heel, plus the 3 points, home favorite. Hoping Detroit gets it together, and their coaching staff stinks. Next, we got the New England Patriots traveling to the Miami Dolphins. My goodness, how this point spread went from 13 to 19 in a week. My goodness, that's like a full score, full touchdown almost. Man, New England has the number 3 defensive run game right now. It's hard to run on them. As far as week 1 goes, they played Pittsburgh too, and Connor, he's a good runner. New England, man, they look sharp. But they were at home. Miami is the New England Patriots' Achilles heel. 5-1 versus New England at home is Miami. But this is Miami. Well, they just tanked. I saw a picture and someone drew the Dolphins logo as a tank. Hilarious stuff. Anyways, I got, you gotta go by certain betting rules. When you gamble and you take money, you take the home team with the points. That's the bottom line. And 19. This is the second highest. Last year we saw the 17 points. Buffalo traveling to the Vikings, 17 points. And I told everybody, man, take the 17 points. This year, I bet on Buffalo to, go to the playoffs, which is a high payout. So you never know. But 17 points is the highest, second highest last year. Now it's been beat by 19. The first highest, you asked me, is the New England Patriots traveling to Jacksonville. When Jacksonville was really bad, it was 21 points. I've never seen it higher than 21 points. And Jacksonville covered. Buffalo covered. So I'm telling you, Miami should cover. The first two, the highest. I've never seen one did cover at this high spread. So I'm taking Miami plus the 19. Next, we go to the 4 o'clock games. We got the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders are 9-point dogs? Is that right? Oh man, 9 points. Kansas City on back-to-back games. I know they just went at Jacksonville, just blew them out of the water. And they do it to Oakland, a divisional foe. Last year, Oakland only lost by 7. And they can, that Kansas City defense looks horrid. Oakland, they put up some points against Denver. I am definitely taking the Oakland plus the 9. I'm getting the home field. I'm getting the 9 points. I think they can, keep it somewhat close within 2 scores. So take Oakland plus the 9. Next, we got Chicago traveling to Denver, one of the hardest places in the world to freaking play at. But they got Denver plus 3. Denver plus 3, man. Flacco looked so bad on last Monday night. It's Chicago. These two teams, the last 6 meetings, they're 3-3 in Denver. It's always a low-scoring affair. The last time it was Denver 13, Chicago 10, 2011. Neither one of these teams have any offense. It's going to be all defense. I don't see, 3 points is a lot. That's a score. Let's go with Chicago. I think their defense is a lot better than Denver's, so I'm taking Chicago minus the 3. Next, we got the Sunday night game. We got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the Atlanta Falcons. Both these two teams are exciting and fun to watch. Should be a great game on Sunday night. It's only a 2-point spread. Atlanta, a home dog. Will Philadelphia go 2-0? Will Atlanta go 0-2? That's a tough one to say. Both these two teams. Well, so I'm going to do like a little history bet on this one. I'm taking Atlanta plus the 2. I'm getting the home team, plus I'm getting a couple points. Philadelphia's 0-2 in Atlanta. That's where, they're 3-0 in Philadelphia. So if this was in Philadelphia, I'm taking, Philadelphia, but it's in Atlanta. And I'm taking the 2-0 Atlanta Falcons over the Eagles in past history. So yeah, take the Atlanta plus that 2. Next, we got the no offense Monday night game. We got the Cleveland Browns traveling to the New York Jets. Again, everybody's hyping the Browns. Like, oh, the Browns can beat the Jets, They had a bad rap, all those penalties. They're not going to have that many 200 yards in penalties or 180 yards, whatever penalties was last week against the Titans. And totally just blew the fourth quarter. So I'm not believing the hype yet with Cleveland. The Jets are 2-0 in New York against Cleveland. They won substantially, too, by 21 points and by 11 points. The Jets, I think they had a great defense. They held the Bills at the most part of the game. They still do have Le'Veon Bell. They just need to get it together, add him more to the play calling with maybe short passes and give him more runs. Cleveland, I see the players, I see the playmakers. They got. I see where the hype's coming from. But both these quarterbacks have the sophomore slump. I'm just taking the home team plus the 3 points, and that's how I'm betting Monday night. All right, that about wraps things up. For those who enjoyed the stay over and listening to all the games, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. If you do want to follow my under and overs on Twitter, I'll have those later in the week. Again, I was 0-3 last week. It was a wild weekend. I did better on my picks than I did my under and overs. But, I do the same thing. Sometimes I have bad picks and great under and overs. Just back and forth. You just definitely want to keep it over that 50% and go from there. So, thanks for watching. I went over 4,000 subscribers last week. I want to thank all you who subscribed. I really appreciate the support. And I'll see you next week. Peace. You enjoyed placing a few bucks on your favorite team? Maybe try your hand at cards or on the slots. Use me as a reference and head over to my Twitter and click on the link below and receive a new member bonus and help support this channel. Bovada, just better. All right, for those who stayed after my little advertisement, my kid whose his voice is starting to change, he's starting to sound like South Park. So I put this little clip. I promised I wouldn't show it to nobody, so you can't tell anybody you've seen this. And most people, they turn off the video. So this is like a little bonus feature, a little fun feature. So here's my son saying, I told him to say the script. He'd never heard of South Park before. He has no idea what it is. I said, just say this and film it for me. I'll give you $5. He's like, okay, So you tell me if it sounds like Cartman.
Oh my God, he killed Kenny!
man. That's just too funny. I'll see you next week. Peace.